Good morning, stampers and crafters. Welcome to Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. I have a new technique to me. Metallic gilding polishes. They're made by Cosmic Shimmer. Oh my gosh. If you like shimmery, sparkly, shiny cardstock or accents, these are so cool. I got several colors, but the ones I got are more opaque. They do have some that are like opalescent, that if you put it on black cardstock and white cardstock, it'll come out different colors. The colors I got, they stay, kind of true to color depending on whether or not you put it on black cardstock or if you put it on white cardstock. When you get these, they come in a little jar, and up on top here, they actually come, you have to hold it and then push forward. They have their own sponge right in the lid. Now, I've been using these all day, so I haven't cleaned mine. They say you don't need to. They say you can just put it back in the lid, it'll be fine. But this isn't something I'm probably going to use every day. So these are water-based. I will probably take all my sponges to the sink, wash them in warm water, and clean them up. So let me jump in and show you some ways that I found that you can use this stuff. First way I found is simply covering your piece of cardstock. You can do a single color, you can do the multiple colors. Let me do a multicolor because they don't quite blend like you would think. So what you're going to do, what color do I want to start with? Let's just start with this red. You got to see how pretty it is. So you can see this one has been cleaned. It still has a little bit of staining, but I did clean it last time I used. There you go. See, it's pretty thick paste. Another thing I saw that you could probably do when you store these, spritz a little spritz of water in it before you seal it. That'll help keep this from drying out. It is water-based. Okay, it is water-based, so putting water in there isn't going to hurt it. Or I saw yesterday, pardon me, I saw a lady take a piece of saran wrap, laid it over it, and then screwed the lid on. So that, push your saran wrap down in there, and it keeps the air out of there. So you're going to take these little sponges, and you're going to put the edge into your jar. Okay, and you're just going to kind of scrape it along the edge of the jar there, because you don't want it, see how it has some big clumps? And if you just scrape it, then it won't be clumpy. Okay, so I'm going to fill up my sponge here a little bit, and let's add some random color here. I'm just going to use a circular motion, maybe add some random areas. Now this is a thick enough paste that you could probably use it like a median. Right now I'm just smoothing it on there. I'm not doing it thickly. But you can, layer more color over it. But look how pretty that red is. Look at this. Look at the shimmer. The pearlescent shimmer. So let me grab some other colors and show you how they go on there. Maybe we'll add some pink in. And see, this one I didn't clean yet. And you can feel it starts to get a little hard. So I would just clean them when you're done. It doesn't take long. Now this one looks a little thicker, but it works the same. So we're just going to pick up some of that paste on our dauber here. And let's add some. Now, if you see, it's going over that red just fine. So it is opaque. It blends a little. You can kind of see a little color transition there. You could go crazy with this stuff. I mean, what if you needed a foil cardstock, a piece of foil cardstock that you didn't have any silver or gold or, something like that? You could just make it with this stuff. and die cut it. So we've got a little pink in there. Let's add some of this pretty teal. Let's grab an embossing folder. And for this, I'm going to use my seashells embossing folder. And make sure you put it to where your deboss, which is normally the side with the sun, is facing up. Let's put it in here. Look at this. Oh my goodness. How cool is that? Look at the shimmer on there. Isn't that pretty? You can also, if you wanted to, you could put this shimmer directly on to your cardstock. So I'm going to take my blue. Now I'm doing it on the emboss side, not the deboss. You could do the deboss and just have a background. You know what I mean? But I'm going to try it on the emboss side and see how it turns out. So I'm just going to lightly tap my ink on the raised portions of the embossing folder. Now this, like I said, it is water-based. So when you're done doing this on your embossing folders, just take it to the sink and wash it with some warm water. It'll come right off. I've done this so many times, I absolutely know that to be the truth. And let's add a little pink in there. So you can do this with the embossed image too. I'll show you that in a second what I mean. So I'm just lightly dragging my sponge across. If you want a little bit better control in your, sponging, use like one of your small sponge daubers. So let's stick this piece of black cardstock in here. Oh, you know what I would do? I would spritz this with water. Reason being, remember how quick it dried? It dries super, super quick. And that's also going to work to help get a more vivid embossing on your cardstock. Oh, I might add a little bit too much in the one crack, but oh my gosh, that's actually kind of cool. So, like I said, you could also do this side, your emboss side. On the embossing folder, I did the deboss side. Okay, still looks pretty cool. It'd take more time than I took trying to spread it on there. But what if you just wanted to do the embossed side? Okay, so we're going to take our sponge that we've added some to, and I'm just going to lightly drag it across. Just real lightly. Kind of like you would if you were just using one of your ink pads. Like I said, you could use a smaller, brush or sponge. Look at that. How neat is that? So let's add some pink in here. Just lightly brushing over it. Oh, how pretty is that? It dries right away, so you can stamp over it. Let's stamp our greeting. Stamp over it, you can write over it. I'm going to do that again, it's a little pale. You can emboss your greeting over it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? What a cool greeting. If you didn't want to do the colorful background for your greeting, you can actually stamp with the stuff. So let's say we want the greeting to be blue. Take our blue and ink up our pad. I would tap it off a little bit in the lid so you don't have clumps. And then all you're going to do is lightly tap it onto your stamp. And now remember, this dries fast, so if you dilly-dally too long or talk like I'm talking, just spritz it with water. And watch this. Oops, let me move that to the center. You can stamp with it. You have a pearlescent greeting. Now, what if we wanted to do a stencil? I'm going to take, let's try, this is my Post-it note tape. So I'm going to line this up somewhere on my mat here. And I'll line up across the lines to get it straight. That's creating a really nice mask. Plus, holds your cardstock down. Now I'm going to take my stencil and line it up on here the way I want it. Now for this one, I'm going to bring in some of my old small blending brushes. These sponges will work to just go over this, go over your stencil, but these sponges are a little bit dense, and although it'll do it, it might be a little harder to get it into the small spaces. So let's take a blending brush. I'm just going to grab an old blending brush, and again, you can wash these in warm water in there. So again, see how it picks up clumps? Just pick up a little bit, dab it into your lid, move it around a little just to get any clumps off. Kind of tap it, work it in there. That gets in. Or you can do it right here on your craft glass. So let's just do this. See, it goes right in there real well. You can also just scrape it on the edge of the jar, the same as we do with the sponge. And let's put some of this in here. Oh, and this is going to be pretty. I'm a anything shiny card kind of girl. I love putting bling on cards and embellishments. And if you're worried about contaminating your container, take a little palette knife and just put a little bit on your workspace. Dab your brush in it. Work it in. And let's add that. I'm going to overlap that pink just a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't quite blend per se. It will add a little bit extra color. I'll wipe that off. And then I'm going to take, I don't want to lose this. It's a pretty nice sized chunk right there. I'm going to put it right back in the jar. I don't want to waste any. Although, like I said, this is a lot of stuff. It's going to last you a while. Alright, let's reveal it. Ready? Ready? Oh, look at that. And then, and like I said, it's close to dry already. If you want, you could hit it with a heat tool. But it dries really fast. So we're going to remove our Post-it note. And look at that. Look at the shimmer and shine on that. Now, I want to show you something else you can do with this. Let me find it. I have embossed some flowers in just gold embossing on a piece of white cardstock. Ready for this? You can watercolor with it. I'm going to grab my trusty pink here. I'm going to take just a little bit. Doesn't need much, a lot. A little goes a long way. Matter of fact, that might even be too much, but we're just going to go with it. Remember I told you it's water-based? I've got a paintbrush and a jar of water. We're going to water it down. Get all the clumps out of it. And you have started a watercolor palette. You can do either paint directly or we can do splatters. I'm just kind of working some of the little lumpies out. Now the more water you add, I think the more translucent it will be. If you get it too translucent, don't forget you can just go right back over where you painted and it will layer and darken it up. So let's just see how this works. I haven't tried this, but I know I've done the paint splatters. You know, I did the where you splatter spots on a page. I did that with this, but I haven't tried directly painting. Let's see how it does. I'm going to assume that the gold will work like an emboss resist. Oh my, this is going to be really pretty. Oh, look at that, you guys. How pretty is that? So this is watercolor painting with it. Look at the shine and shimmer. I'll let that dry just a second and maybe grab a rag or a paper towel and see if it worked as it. Oh, it did. Oops, I smeared a little. It wasn't quite dry. But it did work as emboss resist and pulled my gold right back up. Oh, nice. Okay, I did smear that a little because it wasn't quite dry. Wait until it dries and then do your emboss resist wipe. Let's go ahead and paint a couple more of these, see how they do. So we're just going to watercolor those. Simple, easy. And see, this one I have a little more water in, so it's a little bit more translucent. Oh, how pretty. Could do all different colors, or you do pink flowers, blue flowers. And then remember I was telling you about how I use it for splatter. But look at the dimension and everything that added to those. Wish my camera would make it show. Let's see where I did the other two just a little bit lighter. You can always take and just darken certain areas of your flower to give it that kind of two-tone look. I just got it on my card there. It's okay. So, remember what I said? You can water it way down. Water it way down. And then just lightly tap and add the splatters to your card. The more water you add to do splatters, the bigger your dots will be. So now, it's a little wet, now you have these shiny pearlescent splatters. How fun is that? So, oh, dropped it right in there. You know what? Could probably even do some smushing with it. Let's see. Oh, look at that. I'd do some smushing with what's left on your palette. Oh, how fun is that? Oh, okay, there's another technique. Do smushing with it. So there you go. We covered a piece of cardstock with multiple colors. You can also do a single color. Maybe we just want our die cut to be gold. Get some ink on your sponge and you can just color your die cut. Quick and easy. Look at that. How quick and easy did you just have a gold foil pearlescent die cut? How perfect is that? Alrighty then. So you can color your die cuts. I'd wait for this to dry a second, and then I would put it in the embossing folder. So let's set that aside. Clean up my little mess here. It wipes right up. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. How beautiful is that? You just created your own chrome piece or shimmer metallic piece. So there you go. You can cover your cardstock a single color, multi-colors, like we did here, and created that. Then you can die cut it, or you can color it and stamp over it. You can color your die cuts. You can emboss it. You can highlight an emboss folder. What did I do with that one? Or highlight the embossed image itself. I probably would do something different on whatever emboss folder I use for this. Maybe use a different 3D embossing folder. But the highlight over the embossed image came out great. You can stencil with it. There you go. Look at that. You have a shimmery single layer quick card. You can paint with it. So you can watercolor paint with it, which includes smushing. Okay, I really like the smushing idea and doing a couple colors of that, because look at the texture the smushing left. See, it has some bumps and ridges, so it's kind of like a mixed media. When that dries, it'll have texture on it. You can just polish off your embossing, and you have these beautiful shimmery flowers. Now this one is one that I embossed. I covered the cardstock in the charcoal brown, okay? Did my embossed image, and then highlighted over it with the copper. How pretty is that? I stamped the image using the same copper polish. So you really, I mean, look at that card. How perfect. Here's one I just stamped with the copper onto black. Stamped my image onto copper. Added a couple champagne rhinestones and maybe a little copper edging there. Came out great. And then this one is the colored die cut and our multicolor background. So it's kind of like kind of reverse of this one. Okay, but look at that. Aren't those amazing? Well, like I said, it was a new technique to me, and I wanted to share it with you because we all love that shiny stuff. I know we do. You know you're out there. Well, this stuff, super simple, super versatile. I think I showed you at least 6 or 7 different application ways to use it. And I hope you go out there and try it. And you have a very happy stamping day. Bye-bye now.